It was stunning.
Can you turn my volume up a little bit, please?
Yes, how about that?
Oh, that sounds far better.
Okay, you're good.
You're very good. You're gentle on the volume.
I know, you blew my head off.
Come here, you've been in my mind for quite a while.
Talk to me.
I've been nurturing these for a long, long time.
What are they?
They've been sitting in the front of my dash of the van for a long time now. Hopefully they're not damp.
What are they?
Got you these. Need to look. I have 2 pairs.
Are they socks?
Yes, they're socks. World Down Syndrome Day, the 21st of March.
Oh,
World Down Syndrome. Look at that.
Brilliant.
And I think it's kind of universal. They'll fit your feet. You're big feet, aren't you? 8 to 12.
These are for 5th class, aged 11.
No, that was Amy Mulroy, age 11, and 5th class designed them.
Oh, wow.
Look at the very top. It says size 8 to 12. That's big enough for you, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect. I'm in there.
Loving it.
They actually designed them.
Yeah, isn't that cool, isn't it?
And can you get these anywhere?
You can. I think they're going to be on sale in the Letterkenny Shopping Centre tomorrow, Friday.
Oh, wow.
I think. And see Down Syndrome Ireland is on it. And
excellent.
Lovely. So you wear them tomorrow
like
when you're down in Buncrana, please?
Yes, indeed. I'm at the plaza.
Yes.
Busy weekend.
Well, tell us this. Are you going to get anything done yourself?
No. Well, Aisling is, because you might know the story, or listeners might know the story of Davin Corrin. He is just the bravest wee boy. He's from St. Johnston, and he's been showing incredible strength and bravery in his battle with myocarditis and cardiomyopathy. And he's had infections, and
he's in treatment in Newcastle,
right old run of it at the moment. And his family too. Obviously, you know yourself, and I know to a small extent. When Hudson was first born, you know the struggles he had, and you understand it as well. It's very, very tough on a family when the wee one's not well.
And you know what? It's great when somebody decides to help out that family. Aisling's hair salon is doing something really special on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday, March 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
What happened if I would arrive late? Would she fit me in, because I'm a little bit bushy myself?
Well, we have a draw to do.
Oh.
Are you offering your services?
Right, Sunday. Oh.
No, it's okay.
No, I'm just thinking.
No, it's okay.
No,
it's
listen,
fine.
We're celebrating World Down Syndrome Day on Sunday.
Could you not move that till Monday?
Oh,
I'm
don't
only
think
joking.
so. No,
I'm only
but
joking.
I would have helped out otherwise.
Aisling will do it herself, don't worry.
Right.
So it's on Sunday, March 22nd in Downings at her hair salon. It's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and it's professional wash and blow dry, and it's for that great cause. So
what's the best way? Would you book,
well, you
or
have
would
to
you
book,
Facebook?
because I think she's pretty busy at the moment, right?
Are you going to help out? You're going to be there. You could dry the hair, couldn't you?
Yes, no. I don't want to
that would be
discourage
great.
anyone at this point.
That would be great.
Well,
I could see you with the hairdryer drying somebody's hair.
I'll be
having
knocking
a
about
crack.
the place. It's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. Now, maybe people don't want anything done with the hair, but you can come down, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, and show your support for Davin and his family during this challenging time. And we all know the strength of a community coming behind a family is huge. And, you know, if you want to donate as well, you can give us a ring here while I'm on air, and I'm sure Caroline and...
on your social feed, I seen a logo of Revolut. Can you do Revolut?
You can. We have Aisling's number here. It's the easiest thing. I can read it out. 08514063226, and you can Revolut, and you get into a draw. But there's a ton of stuff up for grabs.
I seen the big list.
I don't have it. Did you have the list?
I seen the list. I seen it on your Facebook page. Was it?
Yeah. So there's a load. I mean, there's fantastic stuff. The stuff from.
Now I know why you wanted me down there, because you wanted me to do all the heavy lifting and the work.
No. I'll do it anyway. So if you can help at all, you can Revolut to enter into the draw. 08514063226. Give us a call here and we'll hook it up. And it's all to support Davin and his family. And it's on Sunday in Downings, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I think they'll fit people in.
Are you going to take off Monday because you'll be tired?
Not
out?
at all.
You take off Monday.
Can't do another Monday. That'd be 3 in a row, son.
3 in a row? Get away. Can't be doing that.
No. All right, then. Listen. So that's it. So what are you doing Sunday?
Sunday, we're doing a wee thing. I can't say too much about it, but we're doing a bit of filming on Sunday morning.
Whoa.
We can't say too much.
You can't say stuff about the most interesting thing.
No, but and then in the afternoon, I think it's 1 or 2 o'clock. It's World Down Syndrome Day celebrations over in Jackson's Hotel. So we're meeting up as Donegal's coming together, and we're looking forward to that as well.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yes,
brilliant stuff. So it's a busy weekend all around.
It is.
Best of luck with that.
Thank you.
I'll be chatting to you tomorrow morning from Buncrana.
Plaza. I have so many fond memories of the Plaza. We did so many fun. There's a lady in there, Ursula. If you link in with Ursula, she over the years we had like Jigs and Reels and Strictly Come Dancing down there in the community and such. They had the best dance. It was like a sprung dance floor in the Plaza, and was the people.
There was only a couple of those. Planet Earth in Bundoran had one of them as well. It was on tractor tyres. I don't know.
I don't know what it was. Springs or something as well.
But
I don't
the
know.
one in Bundoran was on
tractor tyres.
Tractor tyres.
Was it?
Yeah, and apparently when you're dancing,
it was the best ever. Right, there you go. You're going to have fun tomorrow then.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yes, of course we will.
We'll see, of course.
Have a goodie. We'll chat to you tomorrow. Okay, it's 2 minutes past 9. My apologies. The news a little late, but we just wanted to give those two big events a bit of a push. Right. Ryan Brawley is standing by with the latest news headlines. Ryan?
Good morning, Greg. Cabinet will discuss supports to tackle rising fuel costs and home heating costs next week. Finance Minister Simon Harris confirmed this in the Dáil last night during an emergency Sinn Féin motion on the price of energy. He said the government is finalising what he called an appropriate intervention to address the rising fuel costs. Energy Minister Darragh O'Brien says the government will take its time to ensure they get it right.
Government understands the pressures, and I want to assure people that families and businesses are under. As the Taoiseach and Taoiseach have outlined, this work will be finalised next week, and we expect it to come to Cabinet on Tuesday, and that will set out the interventions that we will make in a targeted and time-bound way that will assist those who need it most.
Well, Sinn Féin has criticised the government's timeline. Finance spokesperson Pearse Doherty says discussions next week will be too late for most people.
€38 million more taken in by this government as a result of sky-high fuel costs. And you sit back in your ivory towers and you say to people out there who can't heat their homes that you have to wait another week and we might come up with something. That's not good enough. It doesn't cut it. People want leadership.
A new special class at St Columba's College Stranorlar has been sanctioned by the National Council for Special Education. This is set to begin during September, and the school have amended their admission policy to reflect the new class. A rule which means bus drivers must retire at 70 has been criticised by a Donegal senator. This limit applies to drivers on Bus Éireann's school transport scheme and has long been questioned. Senator Manus Boyle is backing efforts from Senator Sean Kine to review the rule and allow those with proper licences to continue working provided they are medically fit. He emphasised that safety must remain the top priority and would support strict health checks and regular assessments for those driving beyond the age limit.
No, I don't think. I think if the people age 70s in good medical shape and are willing to stay on, it's something like Bus Éireann really needs to look at here, because there's a massive shortage for drivers in Ireland, and even I know that from the companies that contacted me, there's probably about 30 people now that'll have to end up retiring in September and really don't want to. They want to work on, enjoy their work. They're working maybe 5-6 hours a day, and it suits them.
And the weather, mist and fog patches will clear for most areas this morning to leave a dry and sunny day. Highs of 14 to 16 degrees with a mostly light easterly breeze. That's all from the newsroom. Back with news in full at 10.
What do you think is McDonald's most essential breakfast ingredient? The free-range eggs in every McMuffin, the board beef assured bacon in that breakfast wrap, or the 100% Irish pork in our sausage patties? Actually, our most essential ingredient is Irish farmers who help make your McDonald's favourites your favourites, which is why we're proud to support Irish farming. Served until 11 a.m, subject to availability.
The Talk of the Northwest, the Greg Hughes Show on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning. You're very welcome along to another edition of the Greg Hughes Show. It's 5 minutes past 9 on this Thursday, the 19th of March. I do hope you're very well. We are enjoying beautiful weather across the Northwest today. If you're in the Northwest, you'll know all about it, whether you're out in it or looking out the window at it. Hopefully it's lovely wherever you are too, and we can keep you informed and entertained right up until 11 o'clock on the programme today. We invite you to be part of the show as well, of course, very important. 086 60 25,000. That's our WhatsApp and that's our text number, 086 60 25,000. You can give us a call also on 07491 25,000 or email comments at highlandradio.com. Don't forget to watch the show if it suits you. If you're at home, stick us on your smart TV, your Fire Stick, on YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland. And also, too, by the way, if you want to check out the podcast, and I want to give this a little bit of a plug today, if you don't mind, we are available, of course, on the Highland Radio website, but we are also available on Spotify and iTunes. So you get this daily podcast. It's available for you before midday, in fact, so you don't miss a beat. But also, to our weekly podcast, the Greg Hughes podcast, which comes out on a Friday, another episode coming out tomorrow morning at 11. It's also in there as well. Now, if you could give it a follow and a subscribe and maybe even leave a comment, that would be fantastic. We'd really appreciate that. Right, let's go to the newspapers. The Journalistic Tribune, an aircraft delivering equipment for US Air Force bombers used to attack Iran, flew through Irish sovereign airspace over Dunfanaghy and Hornhead last week. It's been claimed the aircraft was flying east towards a UK Army base on Tuesday afternoon. Locals who witnessed the aircraft's flight have spoken of their shock and disbelief at the utter size of the Munster aircraft, and it's claimed that similar instances have been commonplace in Donegal's airspace for some considerable time, and the time frame of many of the flights is over a 4-hour period after 1 a.m. And this is something I personally and we get regular reports of as well. Often too, sometimes you can get planes in something of a formation, but they don't appear on the flight radar websites because presumably there's some sort of a anonymity with army aircraft. So that corridor, there's a corridor that goes straight over Dunfanaghy, as mentioned there, slightly west-northwest direction, and it's used regularly now by the military, seemingly. The Derry People Donegal News: as the cost of living continues to rise, families in Letterkenny are facing increasing difficulty putting food on the table and keeping their homes heated. It's emerged that in 2025, the Society of St Vincent de Paul assisted 638 local families with a total of almost 278,000 in support. The majority of the funding, over 202,000, was spent on food and groceries. Details shared with the paper reveal that fuel costs accounted for close to 20,000, while almost 40,000 was spent on education needs across primary, secondary and third level studies, a growing area of assistance for local conferences. And of course, Rosa's a regular guest on this programme and comes on when we need to push a certain element of St. Vincent's work, or if they are seeking the public's assistance in gathering up money. And we've been able to track that over the course of the year, an increase in working families or families that were previous donators to St. Vincent de Paul now seeking the charity's assistance. There might be some sort of support for us with the cost of fuel. I'll get to that in the Nationals. The Derry News: man in hospital after savage attack. Detectives are appealing for witnesses and information about an aggravated burglary and assault in Cregan overnight, which has left a man hospitalised. Shortly before 9 p.m. on Tuesday, March 17th, it was reported that a short time earlier, a number of masked men forced their way into a house in Melmore Gardens where a man was subjected to a sustained attack by masked men using weapons. On to the Nationals and the Irish Daily Mail now. And Iran last night threatened to cripple the global energy market in a full-scale economic war by ramping up missile attacks on oil and gas plants. In a major escalation of the Middle East crisis, facilities in neighbouring Gulf countries were evacuated as the regime threatened to pummel them with strikes in the coming hours. And this is the critical part of this story. It followed an Israeli airstrike on the world's largest natural gas field. Now, this is kind of a bizarre strategy by Israel, perhaps in their wider bizarre strategies, because apparently they did this without the knowledge of the United States. So they decided, the Israelis, to bomb the world's largest natural gas field, and in response, Iran started bombing energy infrastructure in countries around them, with the net effect, of course, that, you know, the global world supply of gas and oil was further hampered and the cost of oil increases. But Israel is somewhat insulated from it because they don't have this infrastructure for the Iranians to attack. So they attacked the infrastructure on which we rely, whether we like it or not. Iran responded by targeting similar infrastructure in neighbouring countries, but not Israel, quite importantly. And it's you that's going to have to pay the price for this, notwithstanding the loss of life. And sometimes when we go straight to the economics of it, we forget the fact that there are hundreds and thousands of people dying as these bombs explode around them. But obviously, you know, we are feeling the effects of this financially. And it has to be said, it was Israel that bombed Iran's gas supplies, gas plants first, the oil and gas. And they were warned that if they did, that the Iranians would respond, and they did. And now the world is potentially on its knees, and Israel's insulated from it. And the US said, look, we didn't do it. The US is saying we didn't know they were going to do it, but they did it themselves, even though it impacts the entire world, but not them directly. So, as I mentioned, Israel strikes South Pars in Iran as huge fires burned last night. Qatar which shares the gas field, branded a dangerous and irresponsible attack which had put global energy security at risk. Oil prices shot up 5% yesterday as Iran's new leader declared that energy sites in Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and Qatar have become direct and legitimate targets. Again, I try and bring a bit of balance to the news, and there is not an awful lot of balance out there. So sometimes it might sound like I'm being pro-Iran, which I'm not, right? But unfortunately, through the likes of the BBC and Sky News, where a lot of us get on news, and RTE to some extent, though I don't watch RTE much, to be honest with you, you only get one side of it, right? So that story is framed as if Iran decided, carte blanche, just to start bombing, local fuel supplies, when in fact they were retaliating to an attack that the US said they knew nothing about. So I'm not being pro this or that. I'm just trying to ensure that if you listen to this program, that you get a sense of the full picture rather than this particular narrative that is often on the main news or the main news sources. Right, government finalising its response to rising fuel and energy prices. This is in the Irish Independent. The government will bring forward an appropriate intervention in the next week to tackle increased energy prices arising from the war in Iran, Taoiseach Simon Harris has promised. The Independent understands the forthcoming measures are likely to be for a very short period, with an intervention on the scale of those rolled out after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 being rolled out. Taoiseach Micheál Martin has already rejected any delay to a planned increase in carbon tax in May. Listen, in relation to that carbon tax, I know a lot of people are opposed to it, but the bottom line is in May we'll either be completely banjaxed or prices of oil will have dropped back again and it will be less of an issue. Or else prices will be so high it'll be a no issue almost. Do you get where I'm coming from? The changes, reading on here, expected to be kept under ongoing review as the coalition and Europe grapple with whether the war will de-escalate in weeks ahead after US President Donald Trump again said the conflict would end soon. So there is a sense, obviously, listen, there's an awful lot of doom and gloom out there, as you can imagine, but if the war de-escalates, prices will come down very, very quickly. Obviously, at the pump, they'll come down slower. We know that. We have that conversation all the time, but they will come down. But that's providing that things de-escalate soon. And there is a general consensus that although that one way or other in 2 or 3 weeks that it will have to. How it does, I don't know at this point. The only thing is I'm getting some reports of diesel in some places being €2.59 today. Now, I don't know if you're out and about. I don't know if that's a one-off or an error or what have you. But if prices are that high, whatever the government do, it's not going to really, with the Ukraine-Russia thing, I think they were able to sort of, look at €2 as a ceiling and keep it at 2 until such time as things calm down. But from what I'm seeing, and a moment to correction, there's at least one petrol station, or whatever they're called generically, one petrol station, diesel station, that's $2.59. Now, if the government knocks 20 cents off that, that's still $2.39. Do you get me? It's crazy. Let me know if you're seeing any of those massive figures, or if it was an error or a once-off or some poor information. Right, okay, this is one of great interest to an awful lot of people listening, I'm sure. It's the Irish Times. Desk-based HSE administrators who potentially have no clinical experience will now have greater power to decide if children seeking health and educational services are disabled. Concerns were raised at an Oireachtas Committee on Disability Matters about the lack of clinical qualification for assessment of needs officers. The fact that the overwhelming majority of administrators will decide if a child is disabled or not, having never met or spoken to them, also prompted concerns. How can you do a desktop exercise with inexperienced people on matters that are so important to families? Well, yesterday, the Joint Committee on Disability Matters was considering a new law which plans to overhaul the way the assessment of needs are carried out in Ireland. Late last year, the government announced it was introducing sweeping reforms to try to cut long wait lists for assessment of needs. We'll keep an eye on that. The Irish Farmers Journal, beef prices slashed by 5 million. Irish winter finishers are entering crisis mode as pressure continues to mount on Irish beef's the Irish beef trade. This week, quotes are at €6.70 a kilogram base price for bullocks and €6.80 a kilogram base price for heifers, back 50 cent a kilogram in 5 weeks, with one factory withdrawing its Aberdeen Angus bonus in the last 2 weeks. Losses of between 300 and 500 a head are now being incurred on finished cattle, with a number of larger finishers now refusing to sell until the price improves. What's happening there? Now, of course, if they withhold the product, if it could be so crude to put it like that, they hope that drives up the prices. But why have we seen this fallback in beef prices? We do know that there has been a good period for those in this sector. Prices were really quite healthy. But what is causing this fallback? If you have an insight into that, let me know. 086 60 25,000. Finally, someone mentioned this yesterday, and I hadn't seen the float or the coverage of it, and I kind of brushed it off because I thought the comment was more to do with kids being offended by beds and stuff. But obviously there was more to it. It's a St. Patrick's Day parade float. There's one every year. A St. Patrick's Day parade send-up of the Epstein files featuring apparent enactment of sexual assault has sparked outrage. The spectacle in Ballinrobe, County Mayo, has been branded tasteless, disgraceful and sickening. It was in the town's annual parade, with hundreds of families lining the N84 to join in the celebrations. It was horrendous. It went too far. It shouldn't have happened. But do you know what else is horrendous, really? The media's complicity really in covering up what went on over there, or what happened. Like, which is worse? Which is worse, that horrible mock-up shouldn't have happened, or 60 journalists in the Oval Office afraid to ask Donald Trump questions in relation to the Epstein file? Which is worse? Which is worse? People who have been very strongly implicated in the Epstein files, walking around the place in very high jobs, very influential, getting away with it, or a float in Mayo. Which is worse? I'd love to see as much coverage of the cover-up of the abuse of children and women as happened and as is documented in the Epstein files, as some misguided mockery of it in a St. Patrick's Day float in County Mayo. Do a couple of live lines on that, for an example. Ask Micheál Martin to his face, what's your feelings about going and sitting down with someone who has very serious accusations made against him in the Epstein files? That'd be good journalism, rather than sort of shaming up some people who misjudged really the public mood and might be forgiven for not realising as serious as it is because of the lack of coverage of it, etc. But anyway, listen, I might be talking nonsense again. 086 60 25,000. Any comments in relation to any of that? 086 60 25,000. That's your WhatsApps and texts. Do you know what? I'll get this fella to give us the numbers, because he sits here every morning waiting to get on the radio for a little bit.
The Greg Hughes Show on Highland Radio. Text WhatsApp 086 60 25,000. Call 074 91 25,000 or email comments at highlandradio.com.
Newspapers are kindly supplied by Cosgrove Centra, Mountaintop Letterkenny. Now with the new look Mountaintop Diner.
Award-winning care is at the heart of Blue Poppy Dentistry, Implants and Orthodontics, Letterkenny and Donegal Town. Dr. Lydia, recently named Ulster Regional winner of the Colgate Caring Dentist Awards, is now accepting patients for composite bonding, veneers, airflow cleans and children's dentistry. To book, call 074 91 20355 or book online at bluepoppydental.com. Blue Poppy Dentistry, Implants and Orthodontics, where smiles shine brighter.
Whether you're travelling from Milford to Manchester or Buncrana to Boston this Easter, An Post Money is your foreign currency exchange partner in Donegal. Bob into your local post office and get 0% commission on foreign currency in cash or card instantly, 6 days a week. An Post Money, making better happen. Terms and conditions apply. An Post Money currency card is issued by PPS EUSA, pursuant to licence by MasterCard International. PPS EUSA is authorised by the National Bank of Belgium and is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland for conduct of business rules. An Post is authorised by the Minister for Finance to provide foreign currency cash.
Welcome to Home Store and More. When it's gone, it's gone. We really love the weekly offers. They're class.
I just love the energy in it. I just think it's a happy place. I love the fact that every time you go in, you discover something new.
What I really like about it is that Home Store and More is Irish owned.
The friendliness of the staff, the quality of the goods, and the price. It exceeds my expectations all the time.
So drop by your local Home Store and More, where we're always happy to welcome you.
Home Store and More. A happy home.
Donegal will look to park the Roscommon defeat this coming weekend when they face off with Monaghan in their final divisional game in the National Football League. Jim McGuinness's side know that a victory at St Chinnock's Park in Clonus against Monaghan will secure a place in the league final. Join the Highland team of Pádraig Holford and Brendan Kilcoyne for full match commentary here on Highland from the 3:30 throw-in.
Donegal action in this year's National Football League is brought to you by Highland Motors in Letterkenny. With great deals on new and used Renault, Dacia and Citroën cars, make Highland Motors your first stop when it's time to change.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time
now is 23 minutes past 9. Welcome back to the programme. Right, so a significant and unusually rapid outbreak of meningitis B is currently occurring in Britain, specifically centred in the Canterbury area of Kent. As of mid-March 26, there are over 20 confirmed and probable cases with 2 reported deaths. The cause, health officials have linked the spread to a super spreader event at a local nightclub or nightclubs and close contact social mixing amongst university and sixth form students. This is very unusual the way it's spread. I'm not discussing this, by the way, with a view to putting the living daylights on people. This doesn't spread the same way, for an example, a cold or flu or COVID spreads, but it can spread with close contact and it can be really quite serious. And it's put a lot of people on edge. Colm is watching on with this to this story. Colm, with what emotion as someone who's been through this? And good morning to you, and thanks so much for chatting to me.
Good morning, Greg. How's it going? I'm just interested in the whole story because back in 2001, I actually went through that, a very similar type of thing. It's called meningococcal meningitis, bacterial meningitis. And it's a very, very serious thing to go through. A lot of people don't survive it. So for me, I would just be telling people to look out if you are sick or if you have a high temperature, to make sure you go and look about yourself because it can move very rapidly.
What were the first signs with you, Colm?
Well, I was fine. I'm in a band and I was playing at a wedding on Saturday. Grand. Got up the next day, went to the wee niece's birthday party, and I was at it, and then I just suddenly got really, really sick, just throwing up and all the rest, and it didn't make any sense why I was just suddenly sick. Thought it was a stomach bug or food poisoning, and then let it go to the next day on the Monday. Wasn't feeling great, just like flu-like symptoms. You still there, yeah?
Yeah, no, I'm listening intently, Colm. Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah. So on the Monday, I wasn't feeling good, and I went to the doctors. The doctor that day didn't really, I suppose he didn't panic. He just said he thought it might have been mumps. And it's fair enough. He gave me a wee thing of antibiotics, sent me home with that. I took the antibiotics, but as it gradually got worse, and I was at home on my own at the time, so I went to bed with a high temperature, and I fell asleep for 2 days. Eventually I woke up, I think it was the Thursday morning, and I just couldn't get out of bed. My temperature was over 40 degrees at that stage. It was turned purple. Septicemia had started. So rang them again, and they tried to send an ambulance, but there was no ambulances available, so my brother drove me to the hospital. By the time I got in, I had 4 doctors and a consultant around me, so I knew it was something serious at that stage. So it moved really quickly, this thing. What looks innocent enough can just suddenly become very bad.
And like, you woke up after 2 days sleeping. You must have considered since, like, you could have just been found dead in the bed.
Well, I probably wasn't far off it at that stage, you know, because actually it wasn't that my family weren't looking about me. They had tried to contact me, and I had told them to stay away, that, you know, that it was really bad. I thought it was a bad flu, and I told them to stay away from me in case any of them would get it, which probably wasn't a bad thing to do, but, but I know by the time I got into A&E, like, I was taken straight in, as I say, 4 doctors and a consultant around me. What actually saved me is the consultant in Letterkenny. He was familiar with this particular thing, and he picked it up right away that this is what I had. Although I didn't find it out for a few days after. But he got me straight on the antibiotics, and I remember that night it started. It was 14 drips a day was kind of thing. So it was just constantly drips in both arms. So them antibiotics were quick enough to get it under control. But it was severe. It was awful. The septicemia was awful. I turned purple. I remember looking into the mirror and not recognizing myself. It was that, you know.
And you were in hospital for 8 days, 14 drips a day, and the consultants told you, the doctor told you that you were literally just on almost borrowed time.
Yeah, he told me after, he says, another hour and a half, and he says, I wouldn't have saved you. So that's, you know, that's scary when you think of it that way, but at the same time, I was lucky that I got in there and got seen about. And, you know, a lot of people that go through that end up losing limbs or lose their fingers or lose hands and stuff like that. So I was very lucky to come out without having any of that he was.
Yeah, of course, because, you know, as you say, it's not just getting over it, it's not just surviving it, it's actually moving forward. And you are a musician as well, too, obviously, so that would have been a great disadvantage to you.
This is it. Like, I mean, I'm a guitar player, and, you know, for me to lose fingers, it would have been awful. I'm bad enough on the guitar with the one to have, so...
yeah, scary one. And, you know, like, as I say, this is classed as a very unusual outbreak, and it's a relatively small number of cases given the population, but it normally doesn't spread like this. And we're not talking about this to scare people, Colm. I know that, but your story is one of watching ongoing. I know exactly what these people are going through, and the headlines don't tell the full story. But also, just to keep an eye out for symptoms. You never know, you know, to keep an eye out for symptoms and seek medical advice straight away.
Yeah, at the time that I took it, it was actually the first week of the whole COVID lockdown. So I was put on to an isolated ward, and everything was locked down. And, you know, I think that's why there wasn't much fuss made about it. Even at the time, you know, there was so much going on about COVID that I don't think they were even... You know, it probably would have been highlighted more so at the time, or even checked with our family and stuff like that there, or people close contacts, but there was so much going on with COVID at that stage, that week, that was never really looked at.
All right, well, listen...
But no, just my point that...
Yeah, go ahead,
I would
Colm.
just make the point, if anybody has any, you know, if you think you have any signs of it or any symptoms, or a family member sick, to just be very aware of it and fight your corner, you know, to get seen about, because it's a very rapid thing that you can, you know, within a day or so, you could be in a different way of working.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're still with us, Colm. Thank you so very much indeed for reaching out, Colm, there. And as I say, it's just using the situation in Britain as an opportunity to, you know, highlight the potential dangers and to keep an eye out for symptoms. A fever over 37.5 degrees Celsius, vomiting, headache, stiffness, confusion, rash, dislike of bright lights, fatigue, seizures. Don't always presume there's some sort of a rash. It's not always present there. But as I say, it's a good opportunity just to remind ourselves. And never more so now at this late stage in my life have I become more conscious of the need for us to trust ourselves. And, you know, if we go and get medical help and it doesn't feel like it's really addressing the problem, or something doesn't feel right, to make sure we just don't walk out of the office and accept it is a given. If you need a second opinion, if you need to push your case, please do so, because I don't know if it's because of the job or because there's changes or whatever it might be, but I'm hearing so many cases of problematic situations. Let me put it to you like that.
After 26 years, Clare Clothing Letterkenny is closing. I am very grateful to all my customers for supports and friendships. The closing down sale is now on. Thanks for all the love and support over the years. From Clare Clothing Letterkenny.
The Hidden Hearing 7-Step Hearing Assessment is reassuringly thorough. It's thorough, so you can enjoy dinner at your favourite restaurant where conversation is back on the menu. It's thorough, so you can step back into the world with confidence. Book your 7-Step Hearing Assessment at hiddenhearing.ie today.
Discover Derry, a city where the walls tell stories and everyone is welcomed like an old friend. Soak up the riverside buzz at Ebrington Hotel. Explore the city's museums where history comes to life around every corner. Spice things up over dinner at Umi. Then dance the night away at Sandino's. Here, you don't just have a good time, you have a legendary good time. Start planning now at visitderry.com.
This Easter, make it extra special with Maple. We've got everything you need. Delicious Easter eggs, beautiful cards, fresh flowers, thoughtful gifts and tasty treats for all the family. Don't miss our Easter colouring competition, now running in all Maple stores, with plenty of chances to win. Pick up great value in store too. Nescafe Blend 95 gram, just €4.50. And Ferry Original Washing Up Liquid 900ml, only €3.50. Offers run until the end of March. Maple, fresh, convenient and local this Easter.
On Business Matters this week, I'll hear about how the Gaeltacht could face an influx of people as new job opportunities arise, an update on the motor trade, plus a new social enterprise initiative. So join me, Chris Ashmore, for Business Matters on Highland Radio after the 6 o'clock news on Sunday.
Business Matters is brought to you by Print Supplies. Based in Frosses, Print Supplies has 21 years experience delivering managed print solutions that save you time and money. With remote monitoring and local hands-on support, they take the hassle out of printers and photocopiers. Email sales@printsupplies.ie to find out more.
Spring gardening made easy with Homeland's mega deals. Homeland Lawn Feed Weed and Moss Killer 16 kg. Buy 2, get Homeland Lawn Hero 2.5 litre lawn tonic free. Save €25. Cuprinol Duxback Garden Fence Paint 5 litre now $14.99 or 9 litre for only $24.99. Broadcast Lawn Spreader now $39.99. Save €20. All this and more in store and online at homeland.ie until March 21st.
Joined on the programme now by Patrick McBride, one of the owners of Fairy Tales Daycare in Milford. Thank you for joining me, Patrick.
Good morning, Greg.
And it's off the back of a really tough call by you and the other owners to close. Talk to me.
Yeah, my wife Patrice and I, we have taken the tough decision to close down Fairy Tales. Patrice has been operational now for nearly 20 years. 18 years as a creation, before that as a private provider, a registered private provider. So yeah, a difficult day, difficult decision, but really something that was forced upon us, and I suppose it's just a sign of the times. Childcare has gone through a particularly tough time all over the country. There's been lots of settings. I think since COVID, there's over 1,000 settings have closed countrywide now, and I suppose the other side of that is there's 500-600 new have opened up. But with the demand for childcare, instead of the numbers growing, they're actually decreasing. So I think that tells a story on its own.
As much as you're comfortable in explaining to us, what has made it impossible that you've come to this tough decision?
Well, the first thing is we have no autonomy over our own business anymore. You know, we're told what we can charge, what we can't charge, what we have to do, what we have to provide. So as a private provider, like we felt we've lost all autonomy over decision making in our own building. Our fees have been capped once we entered core funding, our fees have been capped since 2021. Now, as everybody knows, in 2022 alone, electricity prices went up by 42%. Foodstuffs went up by 29%. Now, they might have come back down the following year slightly, but never to the degree that they were prior to that. So any other business, like, regardless of what it is, you have autonomy to increase your fees or increase your prices. Now, I will say that the model, it's very, in a short conversation, Greg, it's almost impossible to, go over everything, but it's not just one thing, it's a whole range of things.
Yeah.
The model's completely broken. The policies that are in place, and indeed, the main opposition parties' policies don't really differ from the current ones. It's all seems to be driven towards a public model, which is grand. I don't know where they're going to get the buildings, where they're going to house them, but that's not an issue for us now. There's so many things. There's not a robust Garda vetting system in place. It takes too long to vet somebody. There's not like any other industry, if somebody is sick for a day, there's a body of people that you can go out there and just pull somebody in and say, listen, can you do a day for me to get me over? In childcare, that's not possible. There's no pool of people there, or a panel of people that you can take in to cover sickness or anything. You're governed by ratios in the rooms, so you have to have your ratios. If a member of staff's off, you have to have somebody that is Garda vetted with a childcare qualification and Garda vetted for that setting to step into that person's place. If you don't have that, and you don't have staff to cover that ratio, you have to close for the day. There's just so many.
It's like death by 1,000 cuts, isn't it? It sounds, Patrick, like you've been regulated out of business, effectively.
There's a lot of regulation, but regulation's not bad, Greg, and regulation is very necessary. And we all have read the horror stories and seen what happens if there isn't regulation.
Yeah.
And even sometimes when that is. So it's not regulation, but there is a high degree of regulation. There's a high degree of compliance. But as a provider, you welcome that and you embrace that. But it's the supports. It's all the supports around it. Like if there was a panel of people there that you could call in when you need staff, things like that. Even simple things like VAT. We are VAT exempt. So for any capital works we carry out, we have to pay VAT on all the stuff you buy in. And even there's no VAT in food stuff and all, but there's loads of things on a daily basis you pay VAT on. We cannot reclaim that VAT.
Yeah. But even just down to the basics, the most basic headline figure, having to absorb all the increases in terms of inputs and wages, etc., with fees capped since 2021, like the world's a very different place now, Patrick. And of course, as you said right from the get-go, you're a private provider, and it is a business. But I imagine for you and your wife, it's far more than a business, because it's a great gift to be entrusted with people's children. There's great bonds and relationships that build up there for a lifetime as well. It's that side of it's very difficult to give up, I would guess.
It is, especially for Patrice. Patrice has a passion for children and for childcare, and it was never, obviously the business was the business, but it was always about the providing of a safe, warm place where children could be educated and nurtured. That was always what she, attained to, and always what she strived to provide and did provide. And I have to say that the number of, beautiful comments and texts and all that she has received has been so welcome and so humbling at this difficult time. but it is a testament to her and what she has provided over the last 18 years. But, you know, it's just sad that it's come, like, even for, I suppose, as providers, you know, there is national bodies there that are being listened to, or forums, but they don't get down to the grassroots. Like, you know, when one system is put out, instead of seeing how it works, they throw another system on top of that. So if the first system's broken, it just it's double jeopardy. Now, I have to say again, you know, even through these difficult times, I would like to acknowledge, you know, Trish McLaughlin and Louise Toner and the Donegal Childcare Committee. You know, they've always been a great source of help and empathy, you know, and knowledge throughout the years. So, you know, there is help there, but it's not at that local level. And we feel as well as losing the autonomy of the business, the grassroots providers, they're not being listened to. Nobody's coming and saying, like, you know, what can we do better? And it isn't one thing, it's a whole myriad of things. Like, you know, it's just the system is broken in so many ways. Yeah, okay. This leaves a gap too in Milford, Patrick, does it? I know you have to consider, you know, your own future and livelihood, but we can't really afford to be losing daycare. It's such a vital part of the whole cog of life now, the whole wheel of life. That's correct, Greg. But for a long time, we were the actual only, and this tells us a story of its own. Yeah. You know, from 2008 up until about maybe 2 years ago, we were the only provider of full-day childcare in the Downlands, Roscoil peninsulas, over as far as Rathmullen and as far as Ramelton, across basically to the Creasler Road and back down. Like, there was nobody else providing full-day childcare. There was some ECCE settings and some part-time settings. Yeah. But we were the only, so that in itself tells you, you know, the difficulties associated with full-day childcare. Babies, you know, 2 years ago we had to change our model and we couldn't take babies in anymore. So we were up to 2 years of age. That has to be looked at. Yeah. You know, that's when people really need help, from 1 year old or from, you know, 18 months on. Even the newer settings opening up, and there is a couple of newer settings opening, they're still not taking babies because of the ratios, because of the costs associated with it. I guess, yeah. So, as I say, all those things have to be looked at. It's not, you just can't pinpoint there's one small reason why we've had to take this decision. It's a fascinating insight and a very difficult working environment, clearly, Patrick. Listen, best wishes to you and Patrice on the future. I know a very, very tough decision for the pair of you. Thank you very much for giving us an insight, an important insight. Bye-bye. Thanks, Greg. And just would like to take this opportunity as well just to thank all our staff, our wonderful staff who have stuck with us over the years, and also our wonderful parents who have trusted us with their children for the past 18 years. Without them, we would never have had a business. So I would really, really like to thank them. Okay, look after yourself. Thank you.
Do you have a job vacancy that needs filled fast? Tried everything but still no luck? Let Highland Radio's Job Spot do the work for you. We'll share your vacancies with 70,000 daily listeners in Donegal, Derry and Tyrone every Monday, Wednesday and Friday during prime time. Plus, your jobs will be listed on highlandradio.com under our Job Spots section. It's fast, cost effective and reaches the people you need. Contact our advertising team today on 07491 253 22 or email advertising at highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, delivering your message across the Northwest.
Hi there, it's Declan Ernie here to tell you about our special concert tour that's coming to a town near you. On Friday, the 20th of this month, you can see us in the Stroul Arts Centre, Omagh, and on Saturday, the 21st, with our special guests in the Green and Letterkenny. Don't miss it, be there.
At Fleming's, we take great pride in having provided quality steel and roofing to all our customers throughout Ireland since 1860.
Tell them about the doors, John.
OK, Mike. We also provide a full quality range of
doors, industrial doors, garage doors, roller doors, insulated doors.
Thanks for that, Mike.
No dramas, mate.
Fleming's, engineering solutions for 150 years. Call us now on 074 91 48 234.
It's here, the new Opel Frontera. Join Manor Motors for the Frontera Test Drive event and discover the wow, the new family fun SUV from Opel. With big comfort, huge space and room for 7. Choose hybrid or electric and make every drive a new adventure. Get behind the wheel at Manor Motors, your Opel dealer. Now with 5 years unlimited warranty. The new Opel Frontera. Fun has found its family.
Millions cut from beef prices. For more in your Irish Farmers Journal, here's our editor, Adam Woods.
We reveal how €5 million has been wiped from beef finishers' incomes, concern over fertiliser supplies, new land a rarity on the leasing market. Find out why there has been a surge in planning for new farm sheds. Plus, don't miss our free 32-page Leaving Cert Ag Science Exam Revision Guide.
Get the Irish Farmers Journal today in stores or subscribe online. You cannot afford to miss it.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhinney's. Find the perfect outfit for any event this season with our extensive collection of occasion wear for women and suiting for men. Explore more in-store or shop online at mcilhinneys.com.
Now, it's going to be a dry and sunny day. Temperatures 14 to 16 degrees in mostly light easterly breezes. We're joined on the programme again by Donnacha O'Bacháin, who's a professor of politics at DCU. Thank you so much for joining us. I do appreciate it. And since we last spoke, things have escalated quite significantly because now we have a war in and with Iran. Your assessment of what's going on in the Middle East, Donnacha?
Well, yeah, when we last spoke, of course, we were speaking about Ukraine. And of course, as you know, that's a story of a dictator who thought that he could decapitate a neighboring country's regime and achieve victory within days and didn't have a plan B when everything went wrong. So here we are in March, and we have a man with strong authoritarian tendencies, again, thinking he could decapitate a regime within days. And when that didn't come to pass, it's quite clear now that they are rudderless. They didn't, of course, consult their ostensible allies in NATO or indeed in Europe. Donald Trump has declared many times that they've already won the war, and yet now he's begging for help, essentially, to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. 20% of the global kind of energy supply dependent on that being open. So, you know, how we're going to get out of this, of course, the Americans could stop bombing at any moment. It's costing them $1 billion a day, and I think the longer this war persists, the more it will be somewhat in Iran's favor. I mean, because the major objective was to change the regime. You can't achieve that without boots on the ground. That's the one thing the Americans have made clear they're not interested in doing. So I don't think we're going to see a clear American victory in the terms I think that they would like in the near future.
I'll be very interested actually to get your suggestions on an exit strategy, because I struggle to see one. But how did this war begin? I was listening to some high-ranking US officials, some quotes from them, and it seemed to be the case that Israel told the United States they were going to do this, and maybe some within the US administration realised what might come next, and the US could end up being drawn into it, but on the back foot and have lost ground. Is that what did actually happen, do you think?
I think so. I mean, it's not in the US interest to be at war with Iran. It's certainly not popular with the MAGA support base that brought Donald Trump to power. And usually when America goes to war, you have this surge of patriotism, this rallying around the flag, and there's a high majority in favor. And that, of course, dissipates over time, as things always go wrong in war. But we started out this war with the US administration having minority support for the war. And that's only, of course, eroding over time as the price of the petrol increases back in America. So we, in a way, have multiple wars here taking place. I mean, we have the US war of course, against Iran. But we also have Israel's war against Iran and Israel's war against Lebanon. And Marco Rubio really let the cat out of the bag when he was the one who first said, well, Israel was going to attack Iran anyway, so we thought that we'd launch a preemptive strike. So it does seem that Israel is leading the way, and that is reinforced by the events of the last 24 hours when Israel, it seems, attacked South Pars, this major oil refinery area in Iran. And Donald Trump was quick to, and of course we can't get White House press releases anymore. We have to go to Truth Social to find out what the US government is thinking. And he said more or less that Israel had done this without his support, without his prior knowledge. Of course, Iran had retaliated by attacking the largest liquefied natural gas facility in the world in Qatar. He, of course, does not want to see this escalate because that's only going to see gas prices rocket again, impacting on his own domestic politics. So he has more or less said to Israel via social media that they're to stop this, and Iran, of course, should stop retaliating because he doesn't want to see this escalate. And if it doesn't stop retaliating, I mean, this is Iran, they will, of course, be subjected to enhanced bombings.
And this is a really big deal, this tit-for-tat bombing of this type of infrastructure, isn't it? Because this has a global impact. Israel's somewhat insulated from it, and I'm not saying who's good or bad or who's right or wrong, but Israel are as responsible for the global crisis, the fuel crisis now, as Iran are, because you know they must have known. Iran had told them they'd retaliate. They had the wherewithal and the means to do so, and they did just that. So, you know, Israel knows what it's doing and is getting away with it.
Absolutely. I mean, the only explanation, and there are, of course, many possible theories, but the most plausible to me is that Netanyahu, who visited the US many, many times during the last 12 months, essentially told Donald Trump that their intelligence was such that they could decapitate the regime. And of course, they did kill the Ayatollah in the first strike, and they've already killed the head of their security. But decapitating the top individuals, you know, doesn't get you control of a country of more than 90 million people. So Donald Trump, I think, was told that this was an easy win. And of course, you know, he likes the idea of easy wins. And of course, he was probably emboldened by the 12-day war of last year. Remember when, of course, they bombed Iran. They said they degraded its nuclear facilities there, and he presented it as a win. So he was back for more, again at Netanyahu's behest. But as you say, Israel, while the catalyst in many ways for this conflict, is insulated in a way that Donald Trump is, I think, from the repercussions.
But there's a naivety here, is there not? Which I can't understand when we're talking about politics and the geopolitical scene at this level. Like Donald Trump, when there was some protests in Iran, says, hold on, we're coming. And then subsequently to the attempted decapitation of leadership, says, right now it's time to rise up and take over your country. Like, it's so naive, really, to believe that a population of 90 million, as you quite rightly pointed out, could be directed like this. You know, that we're coming, we'll do a bit, and then there's your country. When it's not like that, because, like, we were fed a certain narrative in terms of the protests and the demonstrations in Iran, but you'd had to go to Al Jazeera, Press TV, really to see the multiples of tens of thousands of people out in support of the regime.
Yeah, no, it's a very complicated situation in Iran. And of course, if Donald Trump had his way and there was a kind of an uprising of sorts that dislodged the regime, that could be just simply a recipe for civil war, as we've seen in Libya, as we've seen in Iraq. You know, there are more Azerbaijanis living in Iran than there are in Azerbaijan. There are many Kurds there who have also been encouraged to rise up. But they've all been betrayed in the past. Remember, the Kurds were many times in history encouraged to rise up against the rulers, only to find themselves massacred without external support. And going back to, just very recent memory, in January, again, the US administration was emboldening people, encouraging them to rise up. What happened? Thousands were massacred, and the US didn't intervene. And they can't intervene now either, because, again, the one effective intervention would be boots on the ground. That's the one thing, again, the Americans have said that they won't get involved in. They don't want, of course, another Vietnam situation. That's something that the Iranian foreign minister threatened them with. But I think one thing that always strikes me with Vietnam is that technologically, the US was far superior. They won every single battle in Vietnam, but they lost the war. And I think this is what we're going to see again. They have the technological edge over the Iranians, but the Iranian regime is playing the long game here. And this is the one thing, that, of course, that the US can't do, because they know that the US long war in Iran would be politically debilitating at home.
Yep, they've got 20,000-year-old drones that they're capable of making at great speed, and they've got a topography that makes it almost impossible to just go in and do whatever you want. So how does this? I think we should be very grateful, as coarse as this may sound, that there are so many Russians living in Israel. I think that's put the brakes on this turning into an even greater thing. I'm not sure if you agree or disagree with that, Donnacha, but how does this all end?
It ends when America wants it to end, but the consequence, because the US got onto this ramp of conflict. It can easily get off it. It can declare victory. I think what you'll end up finding is that all sides will declare victory simultaneously when this war peters out. I think you'll get a declaration from Trump that mission has been accomplished. He'll say that I've ensured that Iran will never be a threat to anyone ever again, even though Israel has been claiming, of course, that Iran is an imminent threat for decades. I think that many would doubt that it was an imminent threat, certainly to the US. I think Israel will say as well that they've degraded Hezbollah in Lebanon. They've degraded Iran, which is, of course, their bogey. And the Iranians, by merely surviving, the Iranian regime will simply say that, they tried to change our regime. Our regime thrives and survives, so we have won. So I think that nobody's going to claim to be a loser in all of this, except, of course, the obvious losers are the people who've already lost their lives unnecessarily in this conflict, not least, of course, that horrendous attack on the school, which left 165 children dead and their teachers as well.
Donnacha, fascinating insight as always. Thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Look after yourself. Donnacha O'Bachoin there, Professor of Politics at DCU. Much more coming on the Greg Hughes Show after the news at 10.
McGowan Hearing, one of the longest established audiologists in the Northwest, now have weekly clinics in Letterkenny, Buncrana and Carndonagh. Book your free hearing aid consultation at one of these clinics or with audiologist Darren McGowan in your own home. Call 07191 00208 or visit mcgowanhearing.com.
Treat yourself this March at Mulroy Woods Hotel. Enjoy a main course and drink for just €16.95 Monday to Thursday, or Sunday lunch only €26.95 for 3 courses at Mulroy Woods Hotel, Milford. Bookings on 9153313.
Transform your kitchen with a luxury range cooker from Callahan's Electrical. Explore our newly renovated showrooms, now showcasing the finest range cookers from La Conche, Aga, Rangemaster and La Cornue. We have the perfect centerpiece for you. Callahan's Electrical. Visit our showrooms in Letterkenny and Burt or shop online at callahanselectrical.com.
Indulge yourself with friends or a loved one at the Spa at Orchids at the Holyrood Hotel in Bundoran. A midweek or weekend spa break is the perfect way to escape from life for a while. Take a leisurely walk along the Atlantic coast. Enjoy a dip in our private pool, a plunge in our Canadian hot tub, and treatments of your choice before dining in one of the Holyrood Hotel's acclaimed restaurants. The Spa at Orchids. Book now at holyroodhotel.com.
All you need to make your house a home at Patterson's The Halliford. From garden furniture to kitchens, sofas and dining sets, all under one roof. Need a new mattress? Why not visit our sleep centre on the first floor, with a large range of quality beds and mattresses in stock and ready for collection or delivery. Relax in our coffee shop, serving hot lunches daily. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Patterson's Kitchens and Interiors, The Halliford.
Have 4K your way when you order your new 261 Nissan from iMotors. Choose a €4,000 finance contribution or trade-in booster, plus low-rate finance options for even greater value. Discover the Qashqai, Duke and X-Trail, Aria and the all-new Micra, designed for comfort and everyday adventure. Don't delay, offer ends March 31st. Visit our Letterkenny or Malin showrooms or explore more at imotors.ie.
iMotors, fearless generation.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's Donna Marie Doherty with the news at 10 o'clock. Donegal Cancer Flights and Services have confirmed they will be holding a protest on Tuesday in Dublin. It's in relation to the lack of a response from the Department of Transport on the retention of a midday Donegal-Dublin air service. The group will gather at Dáil Éireann at 3 o'clock. The owners of the Childcare Centre in Milford that is closing down says it was forced on them and is a sign of the times. Patrick McBride and his wife Patrice shared the news yesterday that Fairy Tale Daycare would cease operations this June. Patrick says the issues run within the sector deep and that the autonomy has been stripped from childcare providers. A core funding model was introduced in 2022 and with that brought a cap on fees. However, Patrick says the cost of doing business was rising higher and they were left with no other option.
As a private provider, we felt we've lost all autonomy over decision making in our own building. Our fees have been capped. Once we entered core funding, our fees have been capped since 2021. Now, as everybody knows, in 2022 alone, electricity prices went up by 42%. Foodstuffs went up by 29%. Now, they might have come back down the following year slightly, but never to the degree that they were prior to that.
St Columba's College in Stranorlar has announced they received a letter of sanction from the National Council of Special Education to open a special class. The class will be specialised for students with autism and is to begin in the upcoming academic year. The school have revised their admission policy and people can now apply for a place in the class, which will begin in September. The only way to stop migrants coming to Ireland through the UK would to be erect a hard border with Northern Ireland, according to the Justice Minister. Jim O'Callaghan told the Dáil he can't export people from Ireland to countries which aren't willing to accept them back. The Justice Minister addressed Sinn Féin criticism by saying there aren't easy solutions to illegal migration.
There's a recognition of the issues that arise in respect to the common travel area, and there will be an agreed response from the UK and British governments. But Deputy, it's a difficult challenge. If you can go up with a simple response to it, and I'm not being facetious, the only way to stop it is to put a hard border on the island. We don't want to do that. Thank you.
This Saturday marks World Down Syndrome Day and the Donegal branch of Down Syndrome Ireland are marking the celebration. This includes shining a light on the branch's futsal team, which has been established in collaboration with Finn Harps Football Club. Donegal Down Syndrome chairperson Emma Bradley highlights this weekend's events.
So we have lots of things coming up this weekend. We will have a party for all our members and their families in Jackson's Hotel on Sunday. It's a great opportunity for everybody to come together and celebrate. We also have a lot of our members who are taking part in Down Syndrome's Got Talent in the Ballor and Ballor Buffet on Friday evening, and they're looking forward to that. And we have also our Lots of Sock campaign. It's our fundraising drive for Donegal Down Syndrome and Down Syndrome Ireland. Socks are on sale from our social media and also will be on sale in the Tesco shopping centre on Friday.
Hauliers are again threatening widespread protests over the cost of fuel. Irish Road Haulage Association says its members are becoming increasingly frustrated over a lack of action to tackle rising fuel prices. They're meeting the Energy Minister Darragh O'Brien this morning over the issue. President of the IRHA, Ger Hyland, says lorry drivers are struggling to keep their businesses afloat amid the rising costs.
There is a level of frustration and anger out there amongst our members that I have never seen before. They have an ire with everybody. The government are the big winners here in all of this. Also, the fuel companies, the price of fuel started rising immediately after the conflict started. Even with fuel that was already on this island, the fuel companies started gouging immediately.
2 men have been arrested and remain in police custody following a major drug seizure in Derry. Police recovered suspected Class A and B drugs with an estimated street value of £100,000 during an operation yesterday. Inquiries are ongoing. Looking now to the weather forecast, it's going to be a dry and sunny day with highs of 14 to 16 degrees with a mostly light easterly breeze. That's all for now from the newsroom. Back with headlines at 11 o'clock.
The Obituary notices this Thursday morning, March the 19th. The death has occurred of George Fleming, Corrigart. His remains will be reposing at his late residence today from 12 noon, with rosary at 8 p.m. Family time on the morning of the funeral. Funeral mass tomorrow at 12 noon in St John the Baptist Church, Corrigart, with interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Mass can be viewed on the Meva Parish Facebook page. There will be a shuttle bus available from Corrigart Hotel, main car park, to the Wake House today from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member, or Seamus Gallagher, funeral director. The death has taken place of Sarah Doherty, Leanan, 69 Cockhill Park, Buncrana. Sarah is reposing at her late residence. Funeral from there at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, going to St Mary's Church, Cockhill, for Requiem Mass at 11 a.m, with burial in the adjoining cemetery. Mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu, if desired, to Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Porter, funeral director. The death has taken place of Bridget Doak, née Curran, Ards, Creasla. Her remains will be reposing at her late residence today and tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Funeral Mass in St Michael's Church, Creasla on Saturday at 11 a.m, with burial afterwards in Doe Cemetery. Funeral Mass can be viewed live on mcn.live. Family time, please, from 10 p.m. to 11 a.m. and on the morning of the funeral. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or James Harkin, funeral director. The death has taken place of Raymond Andrew Thompson, Glen Eagles, Colmore Road, reposing at W.J. O'Brien and Sons Funeral Home today from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Funeral service in Ballyarnett Presbyterian Church tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Interment afterwards in Muff Parish Churchyard. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of flowers, if wished, to Foyle Hospice, 61 Colmore Road, Derry. The death has taken place of Josie McCann, number 2, The Cottages, Burnfoot. Josie's remains are reposing at his home. Removal from there tomorrow morning at 10:15 a.m. to Our Lady of Lourdes Church, Inch Island, for Requiem Mass at 11 a.m, followed by interment in the adjoining graveyard. Requiem Mass can be viewed on the Fawn Parish YouTube channel. Family time, please, from 9 p.m. to 11 a.m. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu, if desired, to Society of St Vincent de Paul, care of any family member, or Sean Murphy, funeral director. The death has taken place of Bridie Kelly, Dromahal, Termon. Funeral Mass this morning at 11 a.m. in St Columba's Church, Termon, with interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Celebrate Easter with signature tastes at SuperValue. Start the morning with breakfast products like breakfast meats, eggs and juices. Mix and match 3 for €6. And choose from over 50 signature taste lines like cheeses, charcuterie and party food. Mix and match any 3 for €10. Enjoy these signature taste Easter offers exclusively available at SuperValue. Still super, now better value. DRS applies.
You're very welcome into the second hour of the Greg Hughes Show here on Highland Radio. Great to have you on board, as is always the case. Right, let's get to some of your texts. Greg, meningitis has now spread to London yesterday. 67 years ago, a friend at primary school died in less than 14 hours. We said bye at the school gate at 3 o'clock, and the next morning she was dead. Parents, don't take chances if your child or teenager complains. Yeah, indeed. Greg, I got a letter last week from the hospital asking me if I still want to be on the waiting list. I just phoned the hospital to see if they could give me an idea when I could be seen. The lady told me I could be waiting 4 years. I wonder, could you maybe ask your listeners out there if there's anyone else being told the same length of time? I thought the waiting list was to shorten. 4 years is a long time. That comes in from Yunan. Yunan, I wonder what it is, without prying, that you are waiting on. Is there an option maybe for the cross-border initiative or what have you? Crazy stuff blowing up gas oil fields, tit for tat, says a listener, and poisonous fumes into the atmosphere. No word about it. I just think some other way to hammer us to cover up all that's happening elsewhere, believes a listener there. Let me see. Garda vetting. Please highlight again the ludicrous challenges faced by volunteers and voluntary organisations in terms of repeated Garda vetting in every group you enter, repeated child protection training in each group, and repeated high volume of administration and online time regarding admin. the vetting and child protection is absolutely needed. Not in every group, though. Why can't we have a national card updated even annually for these things? We're losing volunteers over this situation, increasing demands on groups, or breaking down groups too. Something needs to be done about it. It's a money-making racket and not for the greater good at all. It's a tough one, and one I'm not fully au fait with, as you quite rightly point out. You know, child protection is everything, and we know in this country more than most. But at the same time, if it's not fully practical, we also have to look at that as well. Right, let me go now to Orla McDade. Good morning to you, Orla.
Hello, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good, Orla. Right, this is a really interesting one. Tell our listeners what you're looking for, and some could say it's a bit of a needle in a haystack, but hey, you never know. Go ahead.
It is. It could well be, but look, it's worth a try anyway, if anything. So my granddad bought a tractor in 1978. It came over from England. He got it registered here in May of 1978. But back then, like, the tractor is actually 1967 is actually the year, of manufacture. But Grandad got it taken over here in April, and then he cleared it out in the May. Once you registered the tractors at that point, the paperwork and logbook will read 1978, even though she is 1967. But the tractor then was sold in 1996 to Nelson's Garage in Carndonagh. So from there, we don't have any actual further information. Where did she go after that is the mystery, to be quite honest with you. It's more of a sentimental find, if I'm honest. It was in the family for so long, and like my dad would have used it, to build our home house. Yeah. So it's of great sentimental value to him as well, do you know what I mean? So it would just be lovely, even... It's not even to say to get it back. It would just be even to know its journey. Where did it end up? If someone's listening today and it's the fact that they might know something about it, it's not the fact of looking for it back, so to speak. It would just be even to know, where did it go? Where did it end up? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. What is the story of it? Now, the truth is, it possibly is lying out the back of a shed in a pile of rust.
Yes. More than likely, yeah, probably.
But this is the type of thing that...
to know that.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be able to trace its story when maybe it's been restored and is on a farm somewhere, or maybe it isn't. It's a Massey Ferguson 135, registration plate KZP 512. And whether it's good news or bad news, you just really want to know where it is. Or what came of it?
Yeah, look, it was in the family for such a long time. It's kind of like the one that got away, if you know what I mean, in our house anyway. And like any help at all would be massive. Like we shared that on Facebook yesterday evening, and thanks to everyone that did. You know what I mean? Any bit of help at all, we really appreciate. But here today then is fantastic. So thanks very much for having me on to speak of it.
No problem.
But like there could be someone that doesn't have Facebook that maybe hears us today that maybe makes some form of recognition to it. Like, do you know what I mean? So
just to recap, really then, your granda sold the tractor to Nelson's in Carndonagh in 1996, which is reasonably recent, I suppose. There's no record or no idea of where it went next. So that's maybe someone worked there or has some recollection of this Massey Ferguson, this 135 KZP 512. Maybe it's in someone's shed. As I say, you're not looking to claim it or anything like that. It's literally just to have an understanding of the history.
And seeing the times it's in it now, if some person read it, they might not say nothing because they'll be thinking, God, or whatever. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's literally just to kind of get the background, like where did it go, like what was its next steps, where did it end up. Like there was a lady that read a comment yesterday evening as well on the Facebook post, like, and she had stated that maybe it was exported. That's a valid point.
Maybe.
But
we don't
know. You know what I mean? It's all avenues. It's open to anything. It's just to know, like, you know what I mean? So
even if someone says, and as random as this, I remember that. Yeah, no, that ended up in.
Exactly.
Sorry, it doesn't. It's really just to have some sort of idea of the life of it.
It's to have a background,
and it's just really important
to
the family.
Background. Yeah, 100%. It really is. Like, you know, it was in the family for such a long time. And when my dad was growing up, like he was saying, because I was asking him a wee bit more about it kind of this morning with the background, and he was saying that like it was literally on the farm, and it was the first tractor that they ever had on the farm.
They must have thought
and
they
like
were
them
just.
themselves.
They must have thought when that thing landed on the farm that they just hit the jackpot.
They
Can you
won the
imagine?
lottery. Exactly.
Yeah.
Back then, 100%. You know what I mean? That was a big deal. No, Granny and Granda never had a car, so this would have been their mode of transport, never mind on the farm. Do you know what I mean? And them times. And like Granda kept cows and pigs and sheep, and Dad was literally saying the farm was self-sufficient on its own, so the tractor was well worked because Granda did his own potatoes and everything. Do you know what I mean? So it's it just has it holds that sentimental side of it because it was there for so long and it was the first one to come. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And any form of help at all, we'd really appreciate. Do you know what I mean? And even if someone thinks it's irrelevant, it might be irrelevant to them, but to find any form of where it went would be a massive help, Greg, you know?
And as you said, if it's in its new happy home, that's all well and good. Even just maybe a photo beside
100%.
it or something, or just to know what...
That would 100%. That's all it would be. And if down the line, if someone was looking to sell it, that's a different story. But if it's happy and it's where it is, that's fine too. But it's just to kind of know where it went and where it lies now. Do you know what I mean? Whatever the ending was, do you know what I mean? It's always still good to know.
It's just a part of the story that's so far untold. Listen, Orla, if we hear anything, we shall pass it on to you, of course. And it's a Massey Ferguson 135, the reg KZP 512. The last known history of it sold to Nelson's in Carndon in 1996. What happened then? We simply don't know. And it's just to get a few answers to that question. Did you run? I've this wild habit. I don't know who it was in your family or friends that sent me the link to share, and I couldn't help but run the image through of your granddad behind the tractor, the image through AI. Did you do that yet?
No, I
just
didn't.
Just to sort of
No.
enhance it.
No, I didn't.
I must,
but
send,
it's worth,
I must send it on to you. It might look nothing like it did at the past, or it might. It's actually it just brings it right into the modern era. I'll send it. I'll send it to the account that I just have this habit of doing it because these old pictures are so wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, then look after yourself.
Yeah,
All
we are.
happy hunting.
Great,
and
thanks so
we'll
much.
see if our listeners can help at all. Our listeners will help. It's just a case of whether or not they have the information to help. Do you get where I'm coming from? Right, now, Daffodil Day at Androchid charity shop. Daffodil Day, 20th of March. All proceeds from sales in the charity shop on Friday the 20th, which is tomorrow, will be donated to the Irish Cancer Society. Tea and coffee will be served. And Androchid, is it? It's parishes of Gweedore and Temple Crone Group Church of Ireland. My apologies. I am trying in the background to improve my pronunciation and language, so bear with me on that. Caroline, I don't have the info about tomorrow, just if you had it to hand, do you? I know you may have given it to me, but that doesn't account for much, unfortunately. Highland Radio are cross-channel, across the Atlantic, in fact, and the team are over in Philadelphia in the United States of America. The Donegal Diaspora Initiative have brought together businesses and community leaders with the aim to strengthen Donegal's connections on a global scale through business, sport and culture. And as part of this event, Highland Radio, front and centre, which is great. And the team, Oisín and Brendan, are broadcasting live from 7:05 tomorrow night at Springfield Country Club. So that's 7:05 our time, celebrating transatlantic enterprise at the Donegal Philadelphia Business Forum. Then on Saturday afternoon, our time at 4 p.m, they're going to be speaking with Donegal Gaels who've made their way to Philly for the Gaelic football tournament. The Tyrconnell Gaels in London have sent over a huge squad to that, and the winners of that will lift the inaugural Charlie McElwee Cup. So Oisín Kelly and the team live from Philly tomorrow evening, 7:05, and then on Saturday, also the 21st, just after 4 p.m. Okay. Now, in relation to the lost tractor, tell us to get in touch with Donegal County Council's tax office and they can tell her who the last registered owner was. Can you do that, though? It's a good idea, but, you know, GDPR these days. I don't know. It's worth an inquiry.
It's It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Thursday, the 19th of March, Jackpot Day. You're playing for the jackpot prize of €14,600 on the pink sheet. The reference number is S19. It's game number 12. The jackpot number is 61. This number can come out in any position from the next 10 numbers drawn. And now, here are your daily numbers. 86, 30, 77, 63, 74, 18, 52, 88, 48, and finally 84. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Save 17% on the Loganair Tartan sale with promo code SALE17. Book now at loganair.co.uk. T's and exclusions apply, subject to availability.
If you're rushing around trying to get things done, why not step out of the hustle and bustle and into Charlie's in Letterkenny? Enjoy some chicken tenders, a delicious burger, an all-day breakfast, or maybe some of their famous homemade chips, all freshly cooked from a packed menu. Eat in or pick up something to go. Open Tuesday to Saturday from 12 right through to 8, and for breakfast every Friday from 9. Charlie's on the Pierce Road, Letterkenny. When the hunger hits, pull into Charlie's.
Thinking about building and renovating your home? Come along to the Inishowen Co-op Home Build and Energy Efficiency Show at the Inishowen Gateway Hotel. Saturday 21st, 11 to 4. Expert speakers, practical advice and free for everyone.
This Easter sees the return of the Easter Express at Oakfield Park, a full day of activities for children and families. The experience begins with a scenic train journey through the park. Then families can explore and take part in an interactive Easter hunt, where children meet a range of colourful characters, each one offering a fun activity or story as part of the hunt. There's also Peter Rabbit's indoor craft workshop, a petting zoo with real bunnies, face painting and more. With limited tickets remaining, book today for the Easter Express from the 3rd to the 6th of April at oakfieldpark.com.
Yes, so tomorrow we are live from Buncrana, the grand opening of the Plaza Youth Club and Cafe. It's on Main Street in Buncrana, and it officially opens tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. We're going to be there, obviously, in the morning. It's a new state-of-the-art youth club, so I'm looking forward to getting along and having a look at that and flagging up the fact that it's opening officially tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So we'll be chatting to those responsible for it, having a look at the facilities, and of course business as usual as well for the show with our Friday panel, etc. Now, Calais Community Park and Hub, that's what we're talking about now, and we're joined by Nicola Mahan. Nicola, thank you very much for chatting to me.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, okay.
Thank you for having me on.
No, it's important that we do so, and it's this curse of a very small amount of dog owners that just don't give a crap other than that's coming from the dog. And pardon my ignorance in relation to this, it's not the dog's faults, it's those that control them or should be controlling them. So tell us what's going on and why you've decided to speak out.
Well, basically, in our village at the moment, north and south of the border, we're having a lot of dog falling in and around the area. But yesterday it just escalated to the Clay Community Park, and literally there was dog poo on the child's swing. And unfortunately, as you say, the schools were off this week, and we had a lot of children in the play park playing. So it just wasn't what you wanted to see the morning after Patrick's Day. They have to go and clean that. We are all that. We don't have any fee workers or TUS workers in our village. Everything we do is voluntary. So I had to clean it yesterday, and it just wasn't nice. I would just like to ask people to clean up after their dog poo and think of the children playing in the park.
Yeah, dog
It's so
poo.
dangerous.
Dog poo contains bacteria that can be very harmful to children and can blind children. In fact, we're not just saying this because of the disgusting potential, i.e., on clothes or on feet or whatever it might be. It is actually really quite dangerous for children. And I can imagine myself, Nicola, landing there with Hudson, and as soon as we get to the gate, he runs on. And the first thing he goes for is the swing, and there is quite literally a lump of dog poo, or there was, on the swing. I mean, that's disgusting.
Yeah, and I don't like to speculate, but I find it hard how a dog could actually get up and sit and do it,
Yeah.
But it's just, and like as I said, like our park is it's all young children use it. Toddlers, and we have a group of childminders who use it daily, and they were horrified and contacted me. They come up, but as I said, those childminders would let the children go on first while they get the other children in the car. So thankfully there was no casualties this time, but it really is. I'm asking people to please think about don't take the dogs onto the play park, basically.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be on talking to me now if it was one incident of one piece of dog poo on one swing. This is an ongoing issue, and as I say, it's a minority
of ongoing. This last week I had basically removed dog poo from the park also, and I had to literally get buckets of water trying to get it away because it was that bad. So it's just ongoing, and I have got a lot of complaints from residents on the village also that they're not, people aren't cleaning up their dog poo.
Yeah. Horrible stuff. Okay,
please
do.
It is really, and I know people have asked for bins, dog foiling bins, but unfortunately, as I said, we are voluntary, and I wouldn't want to take on that role.
Well, listen, the alternative, but I get where you're coming from, but the alternative to a bin is not letting your dog crap on a child's swing or in a park or anywhere for that matter. The alternative to a bin is bagging it and take it home with you and dumping it in your own bin. That's the alternative, I mean,
definitely, 100%.
You can't spoon feed society. Look after your own community. Okay, right. Hopefully, the small minority that are responsible for that will listen. But let's not waste a crisis, because there's a nice thing coming up too. It's a breakfast morning at the Clay Community Hub. What's this about? Do you want me to read this out, or do you have the details?
No, you can read it out if you like. It's perfect.
All right, so breakfast, beautiful breakfast bap, homemade scones. It's starting at 11 a.m., 33 minutes away. It's the Lagan Community Health Forum, and it's a breakfast morning at the Calais Community Hub. I hope the food looks like it does on the poster, because it looks absolutely delicious. So what, do people donate or buy the food, or what way does it work?
No, it's all free of charge. Lagan Community Health Forum are coming in and paying for it. The food is supplied by Matt's Diner in Clay, who are always helping us out. So we would like to see as many people as possible, and it's a lovely morning. Bring the children, a cup of tea, coffee, treats, and breakfast baps and scones.
Happy
Everyone's
days.
welcome.
And it's free. That's it. There's no catch.
Looking forward to it.
It's no
free.
catch. Okay.
No catch. It's free.
All
no
right.
donations, no nothing. It's
Okay.
free.
Nicola, thanks very much for that. Have a great morning. It sounds lovely. Get along to the community, the Clay Community Park and Hub. They've got lovely facilities there, which unfortunately Nicola's had to clean to make sure they're safe for everyone, but also a completely free event in the beautiful Thursday sunshine. It's the breakfast morning. Starts at 11 o'clock this morning. Breakfast baps, homemade scones, sweets, teas, coffees. Wowzers. Nice. Right. Let me see. A caller asks, Greg, can you clarify something for me about the draw? If I buy tickets for the Highland Radio Home Improvements draw, if you win the first prize of €1,000, is that ticket in for all draws? Yes, it is. I'll give that a mention now, actually. Yes, of course it is. And back when we used to do this, Sean Quinn, CEO here, head of sales, he used to joke, he used to say, well, I won't do the accent, my word, I'll get sacked. He used to joke, you you could win the €1,000, and who's to say you could go on and win the jackpot? And I used to take the hand out of him. I was going, what? As if, you're drawn for 1,000 and you put the ticket back in as if you're going to win again. And he kept saying it over. And then what happened, lo and behold, we had a lady that won €1,000, and then a couple of days later, I think, won another €1,000. So it actually does happen. And the reason it can happen is there's not 40,000 tickets in that draw drum. This is a prize, a competition for us here in the Northwest. Every prize that I can recall has been won by someone from Donegal. So, as I say, the reason it can happen is because there's not tens of thousands of tickets in the draw drum. So it's, what am I talking about? Highland Radio's Home Makeover Draw. It's in association with Foy's. And the first prize is 20 grand, a €10,000 home makeover to spend in Foy's, and also €10,000 in cash. And to make it extra exciting, we're going to give away £1,000 every day next week. If you want to enter, you can hop onto our website, highlandradio.com, click Win a Home Makeover and answer a simple question and choose your tickets. 1 for 15 or 5 for 50. So a tenner each, effectively, if you want to group in with other people or just treat yourself. It's completely up to you. Once you get your ticket, you're in all 6 draws. The 5 draws for £1,000 and then the big one, the €20,000 home makeover draw. The draws for the €1,000 start on Monday, so get your tickets right now if you can. You can give us a call here at the radio station as well, 07491 25,000, and we will process that for you. Or you can call into the station during office hours, or as I say, hop onto the website. But to borrow a phrase that's incredibly overused, if you're not in, you can't win. And just to recap, your ticket is your prize, right? So you don't have to answer the phone. There's not a number of rings. There's not you have to say a password or whatever it might be. Once you buy your ticket, you're in the draw. So if you're going off on hollybobs for 2 weeks, you'll be winning at home. Do you get me? That's because that used to... I know that puts some people off, especially if you work in retail or in schools or what have you, and you have to answer your call in a certain amount of rings or say a phrase that pays, and it's fine, not criticising it, but it excludes so many people. So that's why we employ, I presume that's why we employ that system. Those decisions are made far and above my pay scale.
Clarins Gift of Beauty is back at McElhinney's. Buy 2 Clarins products, one to be a moisturiser or serum, to receive a free 4-piece set of Clarins Travel Essentials. Add a 3rd item to your order for 2 bonus products. Offer available in-store and online at mcilhenneys.com while stocks last.
ESB transformed how the country powered itself once, and now we're doing it again. We're investing in large-scale battery infrastructure, allowing us to harness renewable electricity when it's available and store it, creating a smarter energy system that makes cleaner electricity available to homes and businesses when it's needed. Because this is not just for us, it's for future us. Find out more at esb.ie.
A laptop with great power, brilliant performance and premium sound, all for just €429. At Ben Sweeney Euronics, get the refurbished HP EliteBook laptop with Windows 11, 32 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. Enjoy a crisp screen display and Bang & Olufsen audio for crystal clear sound. Perfect for work, study or play. All for just €429 with a 3-year warranty, only at Ben Sweeney Euronics, Port Road, Letterkenny, and the shopping centre, Dunlow.
Celebrate Easter at Super Value. Enjoy a range of delicious wines hand-selected by our experts like Abellio Abarino, a Spanish white perfect with seafood, now €10, and Costa Mediana Amarone, a velvety red great with beef or cheese, now €15. Look out for our specially sourced label, exclusively available at Super Value. Still super, now better value. Please drink responsibly.
Highland Radio is going transatlantic, and you can join us this Friday and Saturday for a series of broadcasts from Philadelphia, USA. The Donegal Diaspora Initiative has been set up to strengthen Donegal connections on a global scale. As part of this inaugural event, you can join me, Oisín Kelly, and the Highland Radio team live from 7:05 Irish time this Friday, celebrating transatlantic enterprise at the Donegal Philadelphia Business Forum. Our broadcast is in association with the Blue Haven Hotel Childcare, now under new ownership and newly renovated, ideally located on the Wild Atlantic Way. The perfect base for discovering the dramatic beauty of Donegal, where the ocean meets the sky. Book now at bluehaven.ie.
Now, the Donegal community is never found wanting in supporting good causes, and they're being asked again to go all in and turn Daffodil yellow on Daffodil Day, March 20th, which is tomorrow, and to go all in to raise vital funds and to give hope to cancer patients. I'm joined on the programme by Paul McClune, who spoke to us before about his battles with cancer. Paul, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good, and how are you?
Not bad. Well, the irony of this week is on St. Patrick's Day 2006. That was the week that I was diagnosed with cancer for the first time, and I encountered it a further 5 times, which was 6 times in total in the last 20 years. So this St. Patrick's Day, I decided to do the 26k harbour walk from Holt to Dunleera, really in recognition of the support I received from various organisations in those 20 years, and also to remind people here in Donegal that despite the diagnosis and the gloom and doom, there is hope. And some of my life was saved, I would have no doubt, by the Irish Cancer Society, Greg.
Yeah, and of course, you know, you credit the likes of the Irish Cancer Society and Aware for helping you and maybe others around you over the last 20 years, because it wasn't a one-and-done situation with you, Paul.
No, well, as I say, I had 6 separate cancers, so it was too tough for a person on their own to handle. So I needed to reach out for help. So actually, the first week I was diagnosed, I did a cold call to the Irish Cancer Society, and they started guiding me about the support networks in Donegal here. So all the support I got, be it from the psychologists, from the mental health services, from nursing themselves, was all based in the county. So I just want to remind people that if you do get a diagnosis, you don't always have to go to Dublin and all of that. There's magnificent people here in the county, both in the statutory and voluntary sector. And the problem for the Cancer Society, of course, is that 95% of their funds is actually gained through fundraising. So I'd love to see people help them, because I think the work to do is second to none, and they make a big difference. I think not only did they change my life, they saved my life.
Yes, and of course it's an ongoing fundraising drive over the course of the year, but you know, the likes of Daffodil Day is a big drive where, you know, I presume that's where, you know, a huge chunk of their funding comes from, and that's why it's important we go all out tomorrow.
That's right. Like every town in the county or every village that you pass through, you'll see someone with a bucket or selling daffodils. So do support them, because, as I say, they don't get much public funding, but if you're, you know, even in terminally ill, to give you nurse care at night, to give you great advice if you're trying to manage cancer, and indeed to avoid it. They also have good educational services. So every aspect of ill health associated with cancer, there's a support network from them. And they just, as I said, Greg, mine was a cold call. They didn't know me from Adam. They certainly know who I am now. But I discovered all the people in the county that were brilliant, and you know, and all of that, because I had 20 years of cancer, Greg, a lot of my colleagues and fellow patients didn't make it. But some of those were inspirational to me, and the words of advice and empathy was the key word. And I think if I say one thing about the Cancer Society, it's empathy that they give you and the understanding of how you feel, both mentally and physically. So they do make a huge difference in every second household now. They're telling us in the county someone will encounter cancer. So it makes a difference to each and every one of us. So it's important that we help them no more than they help us.
I just want to go back to that point you made too about being able to do this on your own and maybe a lack of ability to do so. Some people do try and maybe sometimes be too brave for their own good, or maybe even to be brave for those around them, and don't reach out and get the help and support that's there. And that is, it's vital that funds are raised to maintain these supports, but it's vital that people avail of them as well. I know most do, but it can make a huge difference just in terms of your well-being, but also even potentially your outcomes.
Yeah, well, as I said, Greg, like I was in hospital many times in self-help groups and all of that, and I would have met many people that you kind of mentioned there, in that they were brave in their own minds and says, and even speaking to their own families, they were reluctant to do that. But as I said, very sadly, some people didn't make it. And I'd advise everyone, because I could have mentally had a breakdown if I hadn't got the support I got. So it is too difficult to manage on your own. And I have observed people who tried that and sadly aren't with us. I'm not apportioning that totally.
No, of course not. Yeah.
It is dangerous to try and manage any serious illness on your own. You need help, and it doesn't mean, like I had background working at senior level in different places. Cancer doesn't give two tuppenny hoots who you are or what you are. Illness is illness, and we all need help, and we should be actually brave enough to go and ask for it.
Well done for raising money and awareness for Aware, Harbour to Harbour Walk. Yourself, as you mentioned, Marie and Aisling, 26 kilometres. How are the buttocks and the thighs on Wednesday?
Seamus Devine from Relay for Life Letterkenny contacted me the day after, and he says, when are you going to sit down and take it easy? And I just text him back to say, I'm sitting all day today because my legs have given up, Seamus, so I'm still only recovering. I certainly would think twice about, I'm 71 years of age. 26k is a long, long way, even when I was 40. But anyway, we did it.
You have it in the bag. You have it in the bag. All right, brilliant stuff, Paul. Lovely to see you again. Thank you so much for your time. Monica McElhinney's community fundraiser for Ulster and Connacht North with the Irish Cancer Society. And we've heard firsthand there, Monica, from Paul, singing the praises of the services of the Irish Cancer Society. And it's a big day tomorrow. It's a big day in the fundraising calendar, isn't it?
It is indeed, Greg, and thank you very much for having me on the show. I say Paul there has raised the importance of the Irish Cancer Society, but equally I'd like to just commend Paul and all the other fundraisers that have their bums sore from doing the walk and the 26k. We can't function without the likes of the work Paul is doing.
Yeah.
So I kind of commend you for that.
The Daffodil Centres are very, very important and have helped an awful lot of people. And it's one of those services often, Monica, that people may not be aware of it until cancer comes to your door. What is the importance of the Daffodil Centre?
Well, the importance of the Daffodil Centre is that there are trained staff in there who know about cancer, who haven't heard any question that people may be afraid to ask. The staff in the Daffodil Day Centres have heard all the questions. They're able to deal with empathy, as Paul earlier said there, with any query that comes in from anyone who has just received a cancer diagnosis that are scared. They also do training. If people are going off to have their treatment to start radiation and that, they actually do awareness programs with the cancer person who's got the diagnosis to let them know what's ahead of them. So, they're the first stop for anyone who's got a diagnosis, to eliminate fears, or maybe not eliminate, but to make person with the diagnosis aware of what's ahead of them.
Now, the Daffodil Centre
really
is
important.
Yeah, it's in Letterkenny University Hospital on floor B opposite the chapel. And Therese and Siobhan are in there. They're cancer nurses. They know what's what. It's open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And all of this and all the other work the Irish Cancer Society is facilitated by year-round fundraising, but not least for Daffodil Day. So how can and encourage people here now, Monica, to support? How can they support? Where might they see people they can donate to, or if there are online options? Just take a minute now just to let people know, if they're moved to do so, how to help.
Okay. Right, okay. Well, I'm very, very proud to say here on a Donegal radio station that Donegal is one of our great counties for supporting the Irish Cancer Society, and Daffodil Day is included in that. There's actually 17 volunteer coordinators in Donegal that's going to be having yellow flowers everywhere all over the county tomorrow, spanning from Falcara, Greencastle, out as far as Arranmore, right down as far as the border, Tullahan and Leitrim. Donegal is covered with all the community volunteers. So they can go today. There's one on in the ATU in Letterkenny. Maureen O'Neill is looking after that. She does it for us every year. And then tomorrow, there's actually the Daffodil Day Centre. The girls, Therese and Siobhan, are looking after one in the Daffodil Day Centre tomorrow in Letterkenny Hospital, where they have TY students are supporting them. That happens every year. So it just goes to show that the whole community gets behind this. Then in Donegal town itself, we have Susan Kenny, who has brought troops together, and the whole town has been covered tomorrow for Daffodil Day. You can do it online. It doesn't matter where you go tomorrow in Ireland. Mm-hmm. It's going to be yellow, and we're urging everybody to go all out, to support the cancers.
Monica,
tomorrow.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Monica McElhenney, community fundraiser for Ulster and Connacht North with the Irish Cancer Society.
Hi folks, Nathan Carter here. Join myself and the band with our brand new Priceless show coming to the Millennium Forum in Derry on Thursday the 2nd of April. Tickets on sale from Box Office and from nathancartermusic.com.
Tired of being tired? Join Dr. Olga Mikulich for the launch of the Northwest Sleep Clinic, a new local resource dedicated to tackling snoring, insomnia, sleep apnea and focusing on longevity. You can hear from the experts, have your questions answered, take in health assessments, there's refreshments and giveaways. That's the launch of the all-new Northwest Sleep Clinic, Friday the 27th of March, 6 p.m. in the Mount Derrigal Hotel, Letterkenny. Everyone welcome, admission is free.
In Ireland, it can be hard to get enough vitamin D from the sun. But did you know that 90% of us also don't get enough vitamin D from the food we eat? Avonmore Supermilk is packed with goodness and fortified with vitamin D, which helps absorb calcium for healthy bones, so you can be at your best. We can't make the sun shine, but we can help you shine. Avonmore Supermilk, a super source of calcium and vitamin D. Avonmore, make every day this good. Figures based on 2023 FSAI report.
Are you worried about trees on your property? Northwest Forestry Services Ballybuffet are fully insured and have over 40 years experience in dangerous tree removal, tree felling, surgery and stump grinding. For peace of mind, call Northwest Forest Services Ballybuffet for a no obligation quotation on 913233.
This Easter, explore more at National Trust with adventure aplenty for all. Browse local crafts and cuisine at Castle Ward Spring Market. Solve the riddle at Llewellyn Garden with a colourful egg hunt through stunning grounds. Enjoy a nature-inspired trail at Mount Stewart and see how many giant eggs you can find. Follow the river and the spring trail to an extra special chocolate surprise at the Artery. Or hop aboard the Earl's Grand Tour at Florence Court for an Easter trail like no other. Excited? Search National Trust NI.
Psst. Lidl Plus has a big secret about big brands. Get an incredible 43% off Nestle Incredible Eggs, like Kit Kat, Smarties and Yorkie, now $8.99. And get this, Pepsi Max and Club Orange 24 packs, mix and match 2 for €18 plus deposit. So if you know, you know. You know. Lidl, more to value.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find the perfect outfit for any event this season with our extensive collection of occasion wear for women and suiting for men. Explore more in-store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com.
Okay, the mist and fog has been burned off for the most part to leave a dry and sunny day. Temperatures 14 to 16 degrees, a mostly light easterly breeze. Molly McGrory is in studio with me now. Hi, Molly.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Good to have you with us. Right, you and your friend Jessica Oba, both second-year paediatric nursing students in DCU, and you're undertaking a bit of an adventure, I suppose you could call it.
Yes, exactly. So we were selected there before Christmas to head over to Tanzania and take part in a clinical placement for 4 weeks in the Muhimbili National Hospital. So it's for paediatric oncology care. But everything to get over there had to be raised, self-funded. But we took on the challenge of
thinking the more we can raise, the more we can give back. So we're kind of on a journey to giving back to the hospital more so than focusing on getting us over there. But
no, of course. It's standard. That's the way these things work. Why did you decide to volunteer? Is volunteering reason? Why did you volunteer to go over here or to go over there, and why?
Well, I suppose like when we do placements here at home in Dublin and in Letterkenny, like it is a great experience, but it's going to be a huge experience over there, given the fact that like their culture is different, their like standards of living are different, their way of working over there, it's so limited, they have limited resources. So to see that, to be immersed in all that and to learn from that is kind of why we chose to go forward.
Now, we understand that, there can be gaps in the health service here and they can be highlighted and discussed and what have you. But if you were to compare what we have to what they have, it's night and day.
Oh, night and day, 100%. Like, there was girls that were sent over from DC last year and we were talking to them recently. They were saying even to take blood pressure, they had one machine for the whole ward and it took forever to get around the ward. And when we're doing placement here at home, there's a few machines. You zoom around and it's done quick in an hour, but they're like, it takes so long and you're plugging it in and out of the wall. So it's like they have very little, but they do make do, and even just to give back to that, that's what we're like delighted to do.
And they're committed to giving the best care as you and your colleagues are.
Exactly.
It's just they're having to do it with less resources.
Yeah, they're just making do with what they have, and to be able to give money back to that, and hopefully, if it's an extra machine or an extra bed or someone's care, an extra bit of money for them, anything, like the smallest bit counts, and we're happy to help.
So you're going to go over there and help, but as you say, you don't want to go over empty-handed.
No, definitely not.
The help in and of itself is, it's going to be great for people over there, but also it's good for you in terms of your growth and understanding in your career. We always, it doesn't matter what age we are or what stage of our career we are, we've always got something to learn. So you're gathering up funds as well to bring over some stuff with you, or at least to fund it over there, however that might work.
Exactly. So about a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, we set up a GoFundMe page. We've raised over 5,000 already on the GoFundMe page, which we are so internally grateful for. And it's still up and running if anyone wants to donate, no matter how big or small that matters. It all builds up and comes together. But Jessica herself in Kilkenny, she did a bake sale, raised about €300 in her old school. And now this weekend I have organised a fundraiser in
So you can't
town.
cook. Right, so you're doing a quiz.
Yes, there we go. I'm doing a quiz. So I'm doing a pub quiz in the Central Hotel on Saturday at 7:30. So it's €30 per team. You come in a team of 4, 6 or 8, and I've spot raffle prizes too to give away during that day.
And it's nice too, because obviously it's to support the hospital. It's to support the people of Tanzania. But it's also to back you as well.
Exactly.
To sort of say, right, Molly's one of our own. We're going to support her in her endeavours. So it's a night of trivia and fun. It's a pub quiz night. It's in a fantastic venue as well, the Central Hotel. And it's to support the clinical placement of Molly McGrory in Tanzania, alongside Jessica, who we already mentioned. She's got the bake scale out the way. She's sitting back in Kilkenny wondering how this quiz is going to go, right? So all proceeds go towards the paediatric oncology unit in Muhimbili National Hospital. And it's this Saturday night. It's in the Central Hotel, the Diamond, Donegal Town. And it's nice and early too, right? So you can head to one of the 7 McCafferty's pubs afterwards.
Exactly, you can indeed.
Or wherever, up to the Rev or wherever you want to go. Or sit in the Central and have a few there. It starts at 7:30.
Yeah.
And there is a code you scan. Do you have to? Can you just turn up on the night?
You can turn up on the night. I have had people sent money through my Revolut, but if you do want to turn up on the night and give it in cash or go the Revolut on the door, that is completely fine. The more the merrier.
And listen, we've just been talking about Daffodil Day and there's always something ongoing, but this just might be, and thankfully there's lots of people out there who have a few spare euro, and you're not looking for massive amounts.
No.
Every little bit helps.
It
doesn't matter if it's 1,000 donations of €1 or 2 donations of 500, right? Whatever it might be, it gets you to there, and it genuinely makes a difference. Can I say something that's a bit controversial? If you don't mind.
You can try.
Our health service our health service relies very much on overseas support. And, sometimes I do wonder, if we're stripping the best resources from other countries, and I'm not asking you to comment on that, that's just something I have in my own head. This is an opportunity for us maybe even to give back to overseas nurses where they are.
Exactly.
Right? And it kind of maybe balances something there. If it needs balancing, I don't know. But it just could provide that extra blood pressure reading machine so that scoot around the pediatric ward takes half the time.
Exactly.
And with our resources in this country, it's very, very doable. Right, so where do we find the GoFundMe? Is it on your social media page?
So
because the URL,
Yeah, we have
right?
set up an Instagram page. It's called Tanzania.26. You can also find it on my Facebook page, which is Molly McGrory, because they're both linked. And we have the GoFundMe links on both of those. It's also been shared on Donegal Online as well as the Donegal Democrat, which both have the link as well.
Yeah,
so
and we'll be sharing it on our social media, which really is the big
thank
one.
you.
That's
exactly.
the big one, really. I mean,
yeah.
You've hit the jackpot there.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, get to the Central Hotel this Saturday night. Everyone loves a quiz.
Yeah, it's a bit of
have
fun.
You got the quiz master, or is that yourself?
That's
or?
myself.
Are
I'll
you
give
gonna
no
do
secrets away, though.
Wow.
That is myself.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And all the usual rounds and all the usual excitement?
Yeah, so there'll be a music round, there'll be your general knowledge, so I hope everyone's been studying this week.
Yeah, and you've really laid down the gauntlet for smarty pants. If you're self-declared smarty pants.
Yeah, calling all brainiacs.
Okay. And also it's fun too, so you don't have to be too big a brainiac.
No.
Right, Molly, well done. Safe trip out to you and Jessica.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to hearing how that all went. And you can check out Molly McGrory on socials. Just give us that Instagram page one more time.
So it's Tanzania.26.
Okay, brilliant. Tanzania.26. And you can back local girl Molly and her colleague Jessica as well as they head over and make a difference over in that hospital in Tanzania. Thank you very much for
Thank you so
calling
much,
in.
Greg.
Right, okay. 086 60 25,000 is the WhatsApp and text number. I'll mention that tomorrow, Caroline. It's just a wee bit long for me to mention today. I will go to dog fouling. Falcarra Beach is the same. Dog poo all over. I had to leave with my granddaughter last week. Dogs running wild, not on leads. It's so annoying. I know you love your dog and you think it's so friendly and nice, but if you don't like dogs and it comes running at you, it's not that pleasant. Morning. I witnessed a young fella yesterday on a main footpath in Buncrana not pick up after his dog. He should know better, as his father is well known in the town. Absolutely no regard for other people. I'd love to name and shame, but don't want the hassle. Another Buncrana Beach, especially among the rocks, rife with dog fouling. Greg, is it an ethical move to put someone's photos through AI without asking them first? I'd be happy with this practice without my prior consent. As we know, AI platforms share, analyse and use these images for training. Is that a reference to me running? If you saw the picture, you'll understand what I mean. It's a far distant picture of a man's back and a tractor. I don't think it's the same thing. So there you go. No, I do understand where you're coming from, though. Right, that's where we have to leave it today. Don't forget, we're live from Buncrana tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you from 9, but we leave it